Well, good morning. I'm I didn't do that on purpose. I like that with the keyboard right there. No, that's the freaking laptop keyboard. I have a mechanical keyboard which I like, and believe it or not, it I'm not sponsored by anybody, but this Walmart on mechanical keyboard actually works and it doesn't break down. I mean, I got mad playing a video game. I think it's still on my channel, and I smashed it against the floor. But yeah, it's good for the price. And sometimes cheap store brand, sometimes they have some quality, and the ONN products I haven't had a problem with. Like having a mechanical keyboard, I, there's a lot of hype on things, but I think it's actually better than the membrane kind of keyboard. And like, because I like playing multiplayer Tetris, as you can see, and I was thinking maybe if I had the mechanical keyboard, and I don't know, they're loud though, but I like it. Of course, I have my two computers set up. Uh, my laptop's so good, I wasn't using my other one. um, yeah, I got the freaking Razer um, headset and the Razer mouse. And I like actually the Mamba that is wired and wireless. You can choose either one. They didn't have that at Walmart, but yeah. So I don't know what the hell I'm talking about there. The side, but yeah, I have a pretty good setup in my new place. Hopefully, people still watch my video. Um, I haven't had a day off since Thanksgiving. I'm not complaining. I need the money. I just moved and I haven't filled my gas tank in, geez, a month. What a relief. I'm regretting trading in my other vehicle because I really like that GT Outlander. That was the plug-in PHEV that I had. Ooh, I'd be on freaking electric all the time with that. But going up the mountain, I was driving, as you guys know, 110 miles a day. It's really quick to burn the battery out going up a mountain. I mean, so therefore you're using the gas to replenish the battery and the power of your vehicle. So I was getting 25 miles to the gallon, which is still isn't bad for an SUV. But my other Outlander, I was getting 35, which is pretty outstanding for a three-row for an SUV. And what I liked about the Mitsubishi is it drives like a car. Uh, and when it comes to all the miles I've driven on the Mitsubishis, I haven't had any problems with them. Other than tires, and that's not Mitsubishi's problem. You know what I mean? It just really, compared to the Ford that I liked, I've spent so much less money maintaining. I mean, of course, I do the oil changes and all that, but yeah, I haven't had to replace anything. I mean, for the value, for the cost, and I don't know, man. It's a good vehicle. I like the Mitsubishi vehicle. It drives like a car. It doesn't drive like a truck. Um, so that's another thing that drives me nuts about the mail trucks. I don't want to really drive the ProMasters um, because of the kind of the blindness to curb to the wheel. That's one thing I liked about the Mitsubishi that I traded in. It had front camera, it had curb camera, 360 camera. That was pretty cool. But in the mail trucks, it's I find that actually having a row of packages on the shelf that's facing you towards the front is quicker. Then you can just grab. Then you don't have to spend the time to get out of your truck, go to the back, open up the gate. So then you can have everything else ordered. Like what I do is I'll order them horizontally, and then I'll make it vertical. And then boom, 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 it's all order. And then I'll have the shelf be my next. Of course, the shelf beside me will be the very next. And then the shelf against the wall will be the next ones up that I keep moving forward. And then as I deliver, I'm just doing that. And then boom, I'm just following the package. And that brings up the issue. It's like it's good to have the mail trucks be rather small, but if they were just a little bit bigger, and not only that, if they didn't have the wall behind you. Because I tell you one thing about the ProMasters, and definitely that was really clutch when it comes to speed, and probably would increase your package delivery by probably like 5 packages an hour, maybe up to 10, is being able to stand up, turn around, go to the back, and then get out the side door and then hit your fob to lock it and then deliver and then go into your driver door. Boom. I mean, that is so much faster. And that's the thing about the truck too, the mail trucks is, I mean, I live on the city that's on a hill. I'm right on Mount Greylock, and the Appalachian Trail goes through here. It's a mountain, and there's a lot of hills, steep hills, not well-maintained roads. And so, you have a ton of packages, and they're going to shuffle around back there. And that's another thing. They don't put like a sheet of aluminum to act as a guard for the door, right? So when you jam pack your vehicle, you have one of them square boxes that's going to catch on the door as you open it up. You're going to shuffle it all around. Sometimes then you have a hard time even opening the door. If they just put a freaking sheet there, then the door wouldn't catch on any of the boxes. It's simple things. It's not like that's a rocket science tip, that can really improve things. So being able to organize the truck and have the packages where you can stand up without having to have that crick in your back, easily move to the back, and not have the shuffling of the boxes will make a world of difference when it comes to making deliveries. Because the way it is you're playing Gumby Man. You're twisting around and you're just... And plus, yeah, with the tailgate, it's like you barely have any freaking finger space to be able to use the door. It's like the very tip of your fingertips, you can shut the... What the hell, man? Especially when it's cold and wet. It's like, what the heck? Allow my finger to actually use your fingers to be able to shut the door. And that's the thing. My advice to you is when it starts to get cold, when you know it's going to get cold, start using like working man's hands or whatever, because don't wait till it's too late. Because I got on every single crevice, I got these cuts. The cold weather just fucks up your fingers. Oh man. It's like I should have, right when it started to get cold, I should have used those creams. Then I probably wouldn't have the cracks, because I tell you, it's painful. So that's another tip, dude. Be prepared. Plus, I don't care. I mean, I use beeswax for these Timberlands, are good. And what I do also when I buy new shoes is I buy the insoles that are really good. Actually, Dr. Scholl's freaking insoles that are meant for like heavy people. Freaking, they're comfortable. The gels versus, I don't like the foams, but the gels. And then put the beeswax over. Beeswax, it stays on top. I guess what like shoe polish can do, it can seep into the leather and then actually like affect you, get onto your feet. Silicone can do that too, I guess. But beeswax actually works. But one split second here. Hold on, I'll be right back. Yeah, it's been rain, snow around here. And I tell you, I don't care how waterproof those freaking things are, even with the beeswax. I was stepping out into water that was like 3 inches deep because of the slush. You know, if you're in leather shoes, waterproof or not, they're basically water resistant. You're gonna get your feet soaked, and then you're gonna have problems. So what I did was I bought insoles, and these are freaking rubber. Bought them at Walmart, $40, and then I put the insoles on them. And I tell you, my pants fit over this, and I bought the size that's rather kind of tight because I don't want movement and chafing. But I tell you, I was walking around in the slush, in the water, in the river, and my feet were dry. I mean, your feet will sweat a little bit, but I'm telling you, it's better than having soggy, cold, freaking, that's a freaking bad day. So psychologically, when your feet are dry and you're walking around in slush, you're happy because you're like, yeah, I'm walking in all this crazy water. It's cold, and you're thinking, geez, if I had my leather boots, man, I've done that, and I tell you, it's the worst. And of course, I was out of work for 2 weeks because not that my feet were ever soggy after that, but just a little bit of sweat and just a little bit of movement, caused an infection in my skin, and a blister didn't heal. So I tell you, when you have these rubbers and you're out there walking in the slush, yeah, it's still bad. It's still not ideal conditions, but you're grateful that you don't have soggy, wet feet. Uh, so I'm telling you that's really a clutch purchase. I just there are carriers who are like, my feet are totally soaking wet, and I feel for them. But I'm like, dude, if you're wearing something like this, your feet wouldn't be. Your leather shoes, as waterproof as they are, and you bought them at the post office, catalog, but still, you know what I mean? And that, you have slush and water like that, and you're wearing leather, you're going to have freaking wet feet. So those rubbers, I mean, I'm not going to wear them every day. I mean, they have overs, but the one thing I don't like about the overs is it adds weight and it creates kind of like movement, even though my shoes fit. So it kind of makes you kind of shuffle your feet. With these, I'm walking normal speed, just like I do with my hiking. So that's what I like about them is I'm not shuffling with the extra weight on my foot, and I can walk around normal. And that's why those overs will work, but they're just not really comfortable. It's just an awkward. It makes you feel slow, and I like being quick on my feet. So those things are really good. And I bought some hunting winter gloves that expose the fingertips and then actually have the mitten that you could put over your fingers if you want. Freaking yeah, those things work. My hands weren't cold really. And what I like to do is I'll have two pair, and I use the truck's heater. I turn the truck heat on, and I put my gloves over the heater of the truck. So then you're going to warm up your gloves. You're going to help keep them drier. And then when you rotate your gloves, you're always having a nice warm hand. Then, of course, it helps protect my cuts. I have a freaking cut in between my freaking, oh my man. And of course, with the trucks, everything's sharp. And you're like, geez. And of course, the mailboxes. So, yeah. So I used a truck heater to rotate a couple pair of gloves. And also, I have a couple pair of my merino wool socks um, with me. Um, because I have so many multiple shoes, I have a spare pair of shoes at the post office because I bought a different type of hunting boot that said it was waterproof, and I believe that they were. And they started kind of like, man, these aren't waterproof, man. What the hell? But I had a spare pair of shoes at the office. I I had a spare pair of socks, and I changed them. Had dry feet, so you don't have to um, freaking work all day with soggy feet. You can have spare socks with you. Put them in your pocket in your coat. And even have a spare pair of shoes in a truck with you and change them. And you can make a crappy day a manageable day. Because I tell you, the wet, cold feet, that's probably one of the worst. I mean, yeah, here we're coming in for 6:30 in the morning because peak season, and um, 6 degrees. I'm telling you, 6 degrees out. It's like the hands, man, the hands. Whew, I got layers of coats, and I wear thermals. People picked on me a lot. They're like, "Oh, you're still in shorts." I wear shorts as long as I can, but yeah, once it gets around the 20s, yeah, I put my thermals on. Yep, no more shorts. So yeah, I this is going to be my day off because the upper management, I guess, um, they must have software that's eyeing hours of employees because my bosses are cool and it's a small office. And, so they're telling me that they're being yelled at by the upper management for my excess overtime of days in a row working. And that just dawned on me. I haven't had a day off since Thanksgiving, but actually, I just moved and I'm in debt. And freaking hey, dude, I need to recuperate from all the gas. So I need to work, you know what I mean? So I'm not complaining because I need to work. Um, so yeah, they're forced. It's a Sunday right before Christmas, and they're forcing them to give me a day off. To talk about lottery win right there. You know what I mean? I mean, geez, this is like probably going to be the heaviest Sunday of the year. Freaking, I get the day off. But if they call me in today, they told me that they'd have to give me Monday off. So it's pretty safe I'm getting today off because logically Monday's going to be crazy. You know what I mean? You got to trade one for the other. But so, I mean, it's like, dude, how the hell the upper management that covers the whole region of like Rhode Island, Connecticut, and friggin' Massachusetts, and I think Vermont and New Hampshire, possible. That's a big area. That's a lot of carriers. And they're aware of Joseph's hours. I mean, um, it must be software that is keeping track of consecutive days and gives them alerts. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so therefore they're like, excess days in a row. I need the money. Um, so it feels good to not be filling up my gas tank so much because that was yeah, not having to drive 3 hours a day. So yeah, one thing that I've done to really speed up my dismounts and my driving box on post. Now, do not drive with your door open. People do that. Don't do that. But rather than rolling down and up in your window all the time, when you're at the post and you're stopped and you're not driving, just open the door. What the hell? I was like, why didn't I think about that all along? I mean, Jesus. Not only that, in the cold weather, you don't have to worry about the wind coming in the vehicle. It it's a lot less cumbersome just to slide the door open. Duh! And actually, because of my fingers and my speed of finger in the mail is a little lacking. So you're gonna have to finger the mail anyway. So I crisscross each address, all of the address. I crisscross it on both. So then I stop at the box, slide my door open. I can easily just grab, drop, slide, go. It's a lot faster. And then with having now my package is rolled up forward, I don't have to get out of the truck to go to the back. I can just Gumby a little bit, grab, boom, boom. And with dismounts, the same. I just grab, go, boom, go. It's a lot faster because before I would stop and finger, and I was thinking, Jesus, I'm just not fingering the mail fast. And that's what's freaking slowing me down. But if I have it all preset like that, then I don't have to worry about it. I just grab, drop, and go. That's a lot faster, a lot quicker. Having your packages in order, then you don't have to really remember everything. I mean, naturally, you want to try to remember so you're aware of what you have, but then, yeah, it works. It makes it quicker. Definitely makes it quicker. Makes it feel smoother too. I don't like dismount routes. I don't really care for box on post. I like to walk. I weigh 173 pounds. I stopped eating chocolate just for a week. Last Saturday, I was 180, and now I'm 173 today. That's crazy. I just didn't eat chocolate this week, and voila, I've lost a lot of weight. But yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah, it's a healthy weight. I've gotten up to 185. So I was just binging a little bit, having too many cheat days. But each time I've gone to 185, multiple times I get back down to the 70s. You know, it's not a coincidence. So obviously I know how to lose weight. But naturally I gain weight because I eat a ton because I'm an eater. But then every time I lose it, it's just really losing weight. It's not as hard as, I mean, it's just what I'm trying to say here is it's easy to, like when I eat chocolate. I mean, that's the thing. Cake, it's good. It's not a big deal. But then the next day, I'll eat it again. It's easy to slip into eating it again and again and again. And all of a sudden, it's like 3 weeks of like eating a bunch of chocolate and cake every day. It's just, it makes sense because your brain likes it. And if your brain likes it, you're gonna want to do it again. It's common sense, right? I mean, it's not like rocket science. If you like something, your brain's gonna want more of it, right? So yeah, it's easy to slip into the habit of like after work, just work 12 hours and you want to have some cake. It's not a big deal. Yeah, so it's just easy to do that. So therefore, yeah, I go up to 184 or 5%. Then I'm like, holy shit, what the hell? So yeah, moderation. And that's the point. People It's kind of like how people in religion judge each other about your morals and your behavior. You know, ooh, you're gonna, you know what I mean? That's kind of, you get a lot of people that aren't religious, but they're doing the same thing. They're judging you based on, like, oh my God, you're eating cake. Ooh, you're not eating healthy food. Ooh, you're you're fat. Oh my gosh. You're doing the same thing. You're not going to church. Yay. No, I'm not anti-church, dude. I'm not talking about anti-religion here. But your the mindset of that judgment is the same of, like, oh, you're eating cake. You know what I mean? Big deal. Ooh, you're fat. Big deal. I mean, obviously, you don't want to be fat for health, but if you are, I mean, it's kind of like this judgment thing. You know what I mean? That's really, I mean, diet culture is true. That's how you make money, right? You create a culture. There's so many facets to it, and you try to sell them plans, try to make an enemy of carbohydrates. And I'm telling you, I've lost weight and maintained my weight each time. 60 to 65% of my diet are carbs and about 20% fat and the rest protein. So high protein, high carbs, and a lower fat intake is just really good for me personally. So, but it also shows that, geez, I'm 60% carbs and I lose weight all the time. You know what I mean? They want you to believe that, oh, you can't have carbs. Now, I understand too much sugar. Yeah, I'm not saying that's wrong, but you don't have to get on a diet that's absent of freaking carbs to lose weight, which then you can simplify it of whatever metabolism that you have that does change. It is a calorie count that it's gonna burn. So then all you have to do is find the calorie count. And then to make it simpler, don't eat too much. Because really, when I like eating my cake, I I eat big portion sizes. I just like to eat a lot. You know what I mean? So I'm eating too much. And then when I go basically a clean, okay, my calorie count, and then what I'm doing is I'm not eating as much. You know what I mean? It's that simple. You don't have to buy into a diet plan. They seep into this culture of judgment and stigma to try to lose weight. You know what I mean? Feel guilty for eating bad food. It's just really, pointless. It's pointless. It's not going to help you. If anything, it's just going to create a freaking mental illness around food. So, but I do like one aspect of this job is that, it is a physically fit job. And, there's a new guy in the office and he's talking about wheezing. And I was thinking about, I've never had that problem. I've always had good cardio, I guess. Even though when I was fat and I was running, I wasn't really like out of breath. I guess I feel lucky about that because I smoked for years way back when. So I feel lucky that I have good lungs. I'm moving around. I'm not winded. Um, and I like that because I do like to eat and it helps me buffer. Um, Being able to move around. And that's obviously one of the reasons why I got really fat was because I was driving for Uber, sitting in a car seat, going eating burgers every day, and basically just sitting in a car seat. So, yeah, the organization of the truck really crisscrossing the addresses of dismounts really makes it. And then when you have it that way, if you need the app, I guess every delivery that you're doing, every address has a sequence number to it. And that's why, like when you scan a package for a load package, it says the sequence number and it won't be well, it is sequential, but not to the next number. It's because it's included with the mail, kind of. So, okay, that's why this package is 225 and the next one that's next to go is like 300. Because I guess, yeah, that's the way they do it. Now, once I know a route, I don't use the load feature because I know the route. I know the zones of the route, so I order the truck accordingly. And therefore, I don't need it. But if I'm new to a route, then I use it. So then you can improve your office time, get out on the street quicker, which then you're going to win. You want to help things out, but you don't want to spend too much setup time while you're on the street, then you're going to lose time. You don't want to do things like when they have us come in early, it works. But if we were running packages and there was mail to deliver and we ran the packages first, you're going to lose time. It might seem like it's quicker, but it's not, because then you're going to the address again. So don't duplicate your efforts. That's also in the contract, which helps protect our job from having temps, I guess, because that's ideally probably what they'd want. I guess they had that in a form of casuals, but now I mean like having temp agencies, staff offices with temps. Then they wouldn't have the shortage of workers. You'd have T6s setting up the routes and whatever, and the regulars, and then whatever, and then you'd have temps come in. I mean, that's probably what they want to do, because then, I mean, obviously you'd have the temps doing the packages. Yeah, and then you'd have the mail carriers, CCAs doing pieces mail only, regulars doing mail only, and you'd have like the temps just running packages. That would speed up the mail. It would save the issue of like people calling out. I mean, that's the issue. Like yesterday, I was out till 7 and I was feeling like shit about it. Yeah, it's a tough route. I mean, it was a tough situation. Had a ton of certifieds to sign, and yeah, packages slowed down the mail. It is what it is. But yeah, they're not going to do that. And in the contract, what they call the JCAN, it says they can't duplicate. So they have to factor in if that job is duplicated, then you can't do it. And then you can file a grievance and then they can send it up or whatever, which is good, because then they can't just like freaking have 1 million people in an office and only like 10 jobs to do, because it could make the supervisor look good, man. Like, hey, look at us. We're getting all the routes done by 3 o'clock. Everyone's done because they have 1 million workers, right? You don't want that, right? So, I mean, it's good that they protect that, because that's probably a little bit of what might help them not allow temp agencies to staff, which then would make it harder to become a regular, right? I mean, I've worked jobs like that where you have temps, and then it becomes harder, I mean, where you can work and be a hard worker, and it might take like a long time to get hired from the company. And that's so having a guarantee of 2 years, you're going to be a PTF, which is a glorified CCA, and then be able to, that's really good. It's a key factor. The good thing about the post office too is it is seniority. So if you do get a warning, it's not the end of the world. I mean, obviously, if you want to transfer, warnings can get in the way. Also, once you're protected, they have I believe once you're a protected guy, they have to use progressive discipline to fire you. Like they suspend you for X amount of time, then the next time if they suspend you more, and then you can go up to arbitration. If they don't agree, then it goes up, I guess. Then they make the decision. So once you're a PTF, you're not protected yet. Even after a probationary period, you pass that. I guess they give you a warning, and then if you mess up, then I guess they can fire you. They don't have to use progressive discipline against you if you're not protected. I might be wrong. I think I'm right. So there's a difference there. Now, what the heck am I going on here? Jeez. Yeah. So it's not the end of the world, though. I guess also they have a PDI. That's why, like, when they talk to you, you tell them that you need to cooperate. But then what you need to do is you need to say, hey, I want to cooperate, I'm going to, but is this going to lead to any discipline? If so, I want to have my steward with me. So therefore, you're not cooperating, but at the same time, you're not speaking until your steward is there with you to help protect you, because the supervisors don't have to advise you of your right to have a steward with you. They don't have to. It's not like the cops when they have to give you their Miranda rights. So they can freaking, yeah. So if you have a warning on and what they do after they say, if they give you a warning, I guess the steward will try to negotiate a time limit when it expires and it goes away. So I guess by default, it's like 2 years. And then they'll whittle it down. Okay, this is going to last for 90 days. You don't do it again for 90 days, it goes away. Now, I don't know if, like, say you get caught, you didn't lock your doors. You didn't realize, and they come up on you. And one way that they'll do it, I mean, naturally, you're not supposed to cross trades. And so supervisors acting like safety. I mean, obviously, they're supervisors, but they're not safety. Well, what they'll do is they'll come up to you under the guise of handing you a package to deliver or an express. And then while they're doing that, they'll check if your doors are locked or did you curb your wheels. So technically, they're not acting like safety. They're just coming up to give you something on the street. And then, you didn't curb your wheels here, buddy. And then they give you a warning for it. Okay. Now, I don't know if you say, okay, you didn't do that again, but within that 90 days, you do something different. Now, is that a different warning? Or does that fall into a violation of the warning that you're under for the curb, even if it's a different type of offense? I don't know about that. Let's hope not. Let's hope if it's a different type of offense that would be a separate warning. I would hope that would be the case. I don't know. I guess you could be like a friggin' lawyer to study the JCAM and factor in all that stuff. But yeah, there's a set time limit. It expires. So generally, though, I mean, if you're not a person that's fucking around, and there are those types that will call out all the time, they're working the system. They're calling out like freaking all the time. Like coincidentally, they'll need to call out sick the day before and after a weekend or whatever, or holiday. You know what I mean? But if you're not one of those people that are just, if you're working hard, you're putting in honest effort, then you're probably not going to have a problem. So then if you have a warning, don't let it fuck with you. Obviously, you're not going to do it again, but it's not the end of the world. So don't let it mess with you. So going to the point of, which is good about the post office and seniority, is if you have a warning and now you're bidding on a job, it's your seniority. That warning's not going to hurt you. If you're a senior and you're bidding on that route, and that warning's not going to hurt you. So it's not the end of the world. You make a mistake, you make a mistake. If you're not messing around, and it's an honest mistake, it's not a big deal. It'll expire. So it's not the end of the world. And like in a different job, yeah, you have a warning. Oh my God, they're going to use it against you. And then all of a sudden, you're screwed because damn, I got that warning on my record. This person going up for this position doesn't have any shit. And that's the thing also with the post office is there's a lot of petty stuff that you can do like say you loaded your truck at the office and you're out and you're locking your door, but you failed to lock the other and you thought that it was an honest mistake. Easy to do. And you can get caught for that. And the way that I guess the contract states you can't give discretion. So they have to give you basically discipline work. So when you're working under speed, it's easy to make mistakes like that. You know what I mean? So then you can feel like, well, geez, man. It kind of, so it's not the end of the world. So don't let it mess with you. Don't let it demoralize you or curb your efforts. So that's a good thing about it, about seniority. It's not about favoritism. So it's not about, you being liked. So that's really a positive thing about seniority. Even though at some level seniority does counter meritocracy, but it's a fairer system. It gets rid of the bias. So I don't know. I like living in close to work. I don't like this weather. The hands, but the hunting gloves that I have really are good. I have my fingertips available to finger the mail, and then I can cover them with the mitten part. It's good. Having multiple layers of coats and having my raincoat as the windbreak really is a clutch. With the thermals on, that's pretty clutch too. So, yeah, I'm happy not to be driving 3 hours a day. That's for sure. So it's good to have a physical job that way for me. Yeah. So other than that, those are pretty much the tips and tricks. Don't duplicate efforts. So running the packages before the mail's ready is good. Our office, the mail's not fully ready until like 8:30, and that sucks. Because then sometimes you're not getting out of the office till late because you can't help it. And that really, especially during peak season, you want to be out early. So when the second truck hasn't come yet, and it's like 8:30, and then of course they have to throw the packages. So now you're getting out of the office at 10, and you have a crazy amount of packages. You're like, damn. And now you're getting back to the office at like 6:30, 7 o'clock, even though you did good. Well, what if I was able to get out of the office at like 8? Then it wouldn't have been a big deal. So, yeah, getting out of the office early is really key to being able to handle this crazy amount of work, is getting out of the office early. When you're getting out at 10, it's like, damn, it's 10:30. Holy crap. This I don't like cluster boxes in winter, that's for sure. I don't like them at all. I don't like cluster boxes. I'd rather just like bang out boxes. If a cluster box is like relatively small, yeah, But once the cluster box system gets so big where you got like freaking 20 of them and you got like 20 slots in each, it's a cumbersome affair. It really is. It would just be quicker just to have like 4 boxes per entrance to the apartment and just bang them out that way. Like, you know what I mean? I swear, once the cluster box gets too freaking big, it's a pain in the ass. It really is, especially when people will come up when you just showed up to the cluster box, and you'll have people that'll just freaking show up and wait on you. And then, oh man, that's the comedy of old people. Geez, the old people homes. Old people often are nice, but they're often funny and comical because they'll heckle you and talk shit about how you're working. I'm like, what the heck, man? It's insane. It's crazy. It's like the banter you have to go through at the freaking cluster box about the people waiting on you. And then you'll have people try to get in on the box when it's open. You're like, you can't be getting into the box yet. I'm not done yet. You know what I mean? That's vexing. I had one lady hand me a bag. Well, I didn't take it. And I didn't get mad. I didn't make any noise. I can't do that, man. She had a bag of trash that she wanted me to take out to the dumpster. With a straight face, she thought that I would take out I can't do that, man. I'm sorry. I'm like, come on, man. I'm not your trash man. It's not my job to take out your garbage, dude. Oh, man, it's fucking hilarious sometimes, these people. Most people are good. But you have these wing nuts that believe, you know what I mean? They think they're serving us something, you know? So cluster boxes introduce that waiting. Some people are there before you even show up. And I think it would just be quicker just to walk the buildings and deliver to each 4 set. You know what I mean? Or whatever set of boxes. I think it's just quicker once it gets to a big. It's cumbersome. It's not hard to do a cluster box, but it breaks up the flow of the job, and you want to set up the job to where you're flowing and makes you feel like you're going somewhere. And cluster boxes seem like it's just, like business routes. They're not hard, but they kind of impede your sense of flow. You have a sense of flow in your mind. It's like an intuitive sense. So when you're in a neighborhood, there's this route that everybody hates in the office. It's a long route, but I like it. It's because a lot of it outside the cluster box setup, it's a neighborhood that has had people living there for years. And each home is a single box home. So when you don't have a lot of new people moving in and a lot of people moving out, you're going to have reliable mail. And it's a 1-box house. And then you're just walking, banging out boxes. So yeah, it's a long route. And people are like, yeah, it's a tough route. But dude, there's this other route that's really terrible. And the reason being is because you'll have people moving in and out of the neighborhood like every 90 days, some even more. And a lot of these people that are moving out and unmarked boxes, and also multiple boxes per building that are unmarked, aren't putting in change of address forms. And a lot of people moving in. So you have a lot of mail that's undeliverable, and you don't quite know who's living there. And when you have a route that has a lot of that, you have a lot of mail, you're not sure if it's deliverable. And that route becomes cumbersome and dirty. And isn't really too fun to deliver on. The manual says, I guess, that you can do a test delivery and therefore see if it's, and that's what basically you have to do. Because you don't really know who's living there. You look at the updated forwards and they're not on a forward list, but yet they don't live there anymore. But how are you supposed to know that? So those routes suck. So you got a route with a single home, single box, with people that have been there for years. You're going to have a lot of deliverable mail. You're going to be able to remember the names better, especially in the holidays where people miss address people. And you're going to kind of, as you know the route, you're going to remember names better. And then you're going to know better. And therefore, you're going to have a better experience, even if it's a long, crazy route. But it's a route with people living on it for decades. And it makes the route have a better flow to it than all these unmarked boxes with multiple boxes per that aren't labeled. And it's just crazy. And then you have basically spam mail. And I think that companies like Spectrum have a software that's just predicting numbers because it's spitting out addresses that never existed. And it really jams up things. Really jams things up with all this business mail that with these addresses that don't exist. And in this city, there's a crazy amount of condemned houses that you don't deliver to. And of course, the businesses are sending them mail and vacants. And that's a dirty mess, when you have so much of that, like your brain's like, well, there can't be this much undeliverable mail, man. So it creates a problem in your head. So these shit routes with dirtiness, and sometimes some regulars aren't good at marking their cluster boxes. And that's a pet peeve of mine as a CCA. Being at a cluster box, no names in the boxes. And is it 134A, B, and C, and D, and then next? Or is it, you know what I mean? You don't know. So, yeah, other than that, things are going well. And I hope that you guys are doing well. And that's my update. Yep, spending less money, which is good. So I'll let you guys go. And thank you.